Welcome back, guys. I'm so glad you're here. This is Automotive Anonymous. That's the 2024 Chevy Silverado ZR2 Bison Edition. So it's literally the best Chevy Silverado that you can get, being the Bison Edition. It's the Apex. I drove a regular ZR2 a month or two ago, and that was a really cool vehicle. And this just builds off of that platform with some upgraded parts, so I have a lot to show you today. But it's not all good. There are some downsides to owning a truck like this, so we have a lot to talk about. I'm going to do a walk around, go through the specs, initial driving impressions, 0 to 60 with the GPS, and then my final thoughts to help you decide, what do you do with the all-new ZR2 Bison? Do you buy it? Do you leave it at the lot? Maybe look at the Raptor or the TRX competition? Big thanks to Twin Falls Chevy for letting me borrow theirs for the day, and let's dive right in with this review. If you're new to Silverados, you need to know that that nameplate became its own model back in 1999. Although this one is still part of the 4th generation that came out in 2019. Back in 2022, we got a refresh front end, a few other updates, and we got the ZR2 with the Bison to shortly follow. These are really cool. They're homegrown. They're made in Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana. And then Chevy sells over 500,000 Silverados every single year in North America, and GMC sells about half that many Sierra counterparts. So they're pretty dang popular. They're one of the most common vehicles you'll see on the roads of North America. And if you're wondering, this one's in a color called sterling gray metallic. Basically, contrasting silver paint with black accents, and it looks fantastic. I've got some good news and some bad news about the Chevy Silverado for 2024. We still have all 9 trim levels that we had offered to us last year. The bad news is they're still expensive. A base work truck starts about $37,000. A base ZR2 with a 3-liter diesel starts at about $72,000. And then tack on an extra $2,000 for the 6.2 liter like this has, and it starts at a $74,000 truck. Add the Bison Edition, that's another $8,000, maybe $1,000 for the sunroof and any other goodies that you want. And now this is almost an $85,000 truck after destination. Is it worth that? I mean, that's a lot of money. That's about $40,000 more than the average new car. But this looks a lot better than the average new car. It's much more capable than the average new car, especially with all the goodies that it has, being the Bison Edition. If you're considering this package, you're going to be getting pretty darn familiar with a little abbreviation that I like to call AEV, because that's the brand of all the aftermarket goodies that it has. You of course have the big steel front and rear bumper that have a step on the front and actual recovery points, and then you have skid plates under the front chassis, the transfer case, the rear diff, the fuel tank. You also have the multi-flex tailgate, and then a different set of 18-inch AEV wheels. And then if you go into the interior of the vehicle, you have AEV listed on the headrests. They're stamped in as well as on the floor liners. It boggles my mind why an $85,000 truck has 2 antennas, and especially this one. What is this thing? The way this is configured, it has an absolutely absurd 11.2 inches of ground clearance and quite a bit of suspension travel from the Multimatic shocks. It also has a really impressive 32.5 degree approach angle from the extra degree you get on this aftermarket AEV bumper. But there are some trade-offs. You only have a 3:23 final drive ratio, so it doesn't put the power down quite as aggressively. It only has a payload capacity of a little over 1,000 pounds. So this full-size truck can literally only safely carry a little bit over 1,000 pounds between the bed and the cab on its configuration with the suspension that it has. And then it can only tow about 8,900 pounds, which is about 3,500 pounds short of a max Silverado capacity. These are roughly 19.5 feet long, 7 feet wide, 6.5 feet tall. They can do a full circle in a little bit under 50 feet. And they have about a 12-foot wheelbase, so they're pretty stable on the road, especially where they weigh about 5,700 pounds. The last things to mention out here is the gas tank is located on the driver's side. It's the standard 24-gallon tank. These are rated at 14 city, 17 highway, so you're gonna get a max range of about 400 miles before you run out of gas. And it's non-locking, so hopefully you never find someone trying to siphon your gas. And then it has a 275/70/18 Goodyear Wrangler tire, which is a very aggressive all-terrain tire. The 18-inch wheels look fantastic. And then you have a proximity key with lock and lock, remote start, the tailgate drop, and the panic button so that people know you need some help. So leave that in your pocket and just push the button on the handle. The door panel has a lot of really nice contrasting materials. You of course have the ZR2 lunar moon landing surface, fake carbon fiber, some shaded chrome, and a few other trim pieces. Soft touch, really comfortable, wide armrest, Hobby Lobby stitching throughout, nice big 6-finger handle, your buttons, your controls, your Bose speakers, the double bottle holders, and your snack storage. Otherwise, you have ZR2 on the door sill, AEV mats I showed you earlier, rubberized pedals, OBD 2-port hood release, 4x4 options, lighting options, heads-up display options, electronic parking brake, ventilation, windshield wiper, a pillar handle to grab because this is a truck and you're going to need one of those, and then really nice heated and ventilated 10-way power adjustment seats, AEV stamped on the headrest, and then the moonroof option up top. Sitting inside the Bison is a really nice place to be. Very human-centric, very ergonomically pleasing, and everything is within reach, right where you want it to be. Really nice heated leather-wrapped steering wheel. The horn sounds decent for a truck. You have the paddle shifters for the 10-speed, but let's fire it up, see if the screen's put on a theatrical display. Probably not because we're in demo mode right now. But if you want to see what the center display has, just go through the toggle switch on the right of the wheel with the other voice and volume controls. And then the left of the wheel has all the adaptive cruise control settings. You have the heads-up display, blind spot monitoring, turn signals, all the fancy stuff. The 13.4-inch display looks really cool. One of my favorite features with these new Chevys is the 360-degree camera system. It seriously looks so good, almost as good as a Tesla, and a lot better than some of the competition. Otherwise, these are the fancy options that you get on the ZR2. You get a rear locker and a front and rear locker. And then physical buttons for all the HVAC and trailer brake and all the things you want with some plugins over here. Otherwise, you have storage, more storage, cup holders. The shifter to go into park, you actually have to push park. So don't just try to hop out of your vehicle. If you go all the way up, you're actually in reverse, you're not in park. And then you have the wireless charger, you have the lifty tray in the center console, and then you have some plugins. You have a household style outlet and a pretty deep space to store whatever you want down there. Otherwise, we have the fancy digital rear view mirror if you want. You have your sliding rear and your moonroof. So it's pretty well spec'd the way that this one sits. Otherwise, let's turn it off, let's hop in the back. The rear door panel follows all the same design language. There's no new materials, there's nothing surprising back here, and again, a full-size door pocket, an unnamed Bose speaker. Otherwise, a little bit of grip in case you have to step up there, maybe get up to some roof rails or whatever you have going on up top. A B-pillar handle, and then really nice seats. 60 split, easy to lift. You can find your tire, changing tools down there. It runs continuously to the other side. And then sitting in the back of the ZR2, I'm 5'11". I have that much room in front of my knees, a map pocket, so I can be a backseat driver. If I'm gonna be chauffeured, I'll let them know where to take me. I have access to cup holders, heated seats, ventilation, USB and C plugins. And then a couple armrests in the center. There's also the hidden storage behind each of the passenger rear seats, which is pretty cool. But let's hop out and I'll show you the bed. The back of the Bison looks really aggressive for being a factory truck. I think Chevy did a good job with it. You can of course drop it or split the tailgate with the buttons by the backup cameras, or you could drop it with the remote like I'm gonna do. Very soft touch lower. You of course have ZR2 stamped in where otherwise Chevrolet would have been. You have 500-pound tie downs, 3 at each corner, totaling 12. And then LED lighting and a household style outlet. It's pretty good, pretty capable. Payload capacity, remember, between the cabin and the bed is only 1,000 pounds. And then the bed is 5 foot 10 inches, being the short bed. The passenger side door panel doesn't have any new surprises over here. You still have the B-pillar handle because it's a truck. And then you have a map pocket so you can have another backseat driver reside back here. This is the 40 split. It's easy to lift, easy to lower. There's your jack. All-weather mats run the whole length of the back seat. It seriously is like a living room back here. And then because I didn't show you it on the other side, here's the hidden storage. You could probably put a notebook, a book, maybe a box of Triscuits in there if you want. Otherwise, let's come around to the front. And if you get a ride shotgun, you have a really nice door panel. There's nothing new, nothing really surprising on this side. You still have ZR2 stamped in the door sill, AEV all-weather mats, 10-way heated leather ventilated seats that are really fancy, and you have the aggressive Bison staring you down with AEV. You have some more carbon fiber theme, storage, hidden storage, locking storage, adequately sized, but there's no plugins in here. Otherwise, let's come around to the front. let's pop the hood because I want to show you what that 6.2 liter Ecotec 3 engine looks like. Under the hood is the really stout 6.2 liter Ecotec 3. It's a pushrod V8. There's not many of those left. It makes 420 horse at 5,600 RPM and 460 pound-feet of the twisty torque at 4,400 RPM. The battery's on the passenger side. Most of the reservoirs are over here on the driver's side. You have the air filter in the box, the baffling to quiet it down, the upper intake manifold, and because it's a small block, it fits in there really well. You could easily do most maintenance items on this platform. Let's drop the hood, take it for a drive. This is my favorite part. I get to time travel and teleport you to one of my favorite roads to show you how it drives and then to see how fast it is on GPS. Initial driving impressions of the ZR2 Bison. It's fun. It's relatively quick. It has great visibility. That ginormous cabin to fit full-size adults in the back seat. My backpack's having a good time. And overall, I'm really comfortable. It's very human-centric, very pleasing to drive. I honestly can't really tell that there's an extra 100 pounds of bumpers and skid plates on this one compared to the regular ZR2. But it still feels like the baddest, most perfect GM truck that I've ever driven. I mean, it's the pinnacle of what they currently offer. It's too bad these cost over 80 grand, and for that price you could get a Raptor. You could almost get a T-Rex. That's actually what the T-Rexes costed in 2021 when they first came out. But overall, it's fantastic. The heads-up display looks really good. The hood bulge is fantastic. The 6.2 liter roars, and the 10-speed does a pretty good job shifting. Sometimes it doesn't feel quite as fast as I was expecting, but a little bit of that comes to the density altitude that this truck is fighting against right now, where we're at a lot of elevation, as you're going to see specifically in our 0 to 60. But overall, it's a really fun truck. The seats are comfortable. The Bose system sounds good. The trees are dancing around a little bit today, so there is some wind. The road is pretty good though, so there's not much road noise with these Goodyear Wrangler tires. And if you have to throw the wheel for some reason, let's see how much body roll there is on this one. Quite a bit, not much more than a normal truck, other than the fact that you're a few inches higher up than a normal truck. So that's a lot of body roll. It does not handle like a sports car, but if you're used to the truck world, it's gonna feel pretty natural. You're gonna feel right at home. Overall, it feels extremely capable in here. Like you could drive over anything that your heart might desire. But because it's a big truck, watch out. Make sure you don't actually run something over that you shouldn't. Anyways, let's cut to the private road, do the 0 to 60, and then my final thoughts. Traction off, 4 auto on, brake rev. True 0 to 60 came in at 7.55 seconds. Not bad given the fact that density altitude is 6,600 feet right now, meaning this vehicle's down on power over 20%. Let's cut to my final thoughts. My final thoughts of the 2024 Silverado ZR2 Bison is it's a phenomenal truck. It's absolutely the apex or the pinnacle of the Chevy Silverado. But is it a necessity? No, it's a luxury. You could get a more capable, less expensive truck if you needed one for work. But if you have the luxury of driving one of these mini super trucks, man, this is a pretty cool one. Overall, it's still very capable, especially in the off-road realm. It looks fantastic. It's basically spec'd the way I would want to build a truck myself if I was going to modify one. And it's just pretty darn cool driving the ZR2, having the 6.2 liter. There's a lot of good stuff that this has going for it. In addition to being a 5-star crash test rated vehicle overall, having an abundance of safety features and pretty good technology for being a Chevy Silverado, you really can't go wrong. If you can afford to pay the bill, you're gonna have a lot of fun with this. I always recommend you drive the competition though, so drive a Raptor, drive a Rebel, drive a T-Rex, whatever else you might be considering, just so that you know you make the right decision. Anyways, if you like my style of review, please like this video. That helps it get shared. That helps my channel to grow. If you want to help me out for making the video, that would be wonderful. Otherwise, just thanks for watching till the end. Subscribe if you want to watch more. I post a few videos a week. And otherwise, I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.